This year, Erev Pesach comes out on Shabbat. Normally on Erev Pesach, we do Bediqat Hames, we do Biur Hames. This year, we cannot do either Bediqat Hames or Biur Hames on Erev Pesach because it's Shabbat. So a few people ask me, how do we do Biur Hames? How do we do Bediqat Hames? What's a proper protocol? I will explain to you the way I am going to do it personally. And there are slight variations among different poskim. So what I'm saying is my own personal opinion, based upon primarily Harambam, Shulchan Aruch, Darif, and the Meiri. But as I said, there are slight variations and different ways, slightly different ways to do this. Let me tell you the way I do it. Starting with Thursday night. Thursday night, you do Bediqat Hames as you would do Bediqat Hames any Erev Pesach. You say the Beracha, you go around and you look for Hames, and whatever you have that you find, you put away, and you're going to burn that as you do every year. So you put that, let's call it the Hames box. So there's a Hames box of Hames that you're going to be burning. All the Hames you have is now in this Hames box. Now, on a normal year, that's the way it'll be. In the Hames box, you might have some also, maybe you'll have some breakfast cereal for the next day, but everything is in that box. Because Erev Pesach comes out on Shabbat, I'm going to have a second box, and the second box is going to be a bread or pita bread that I want to have on Shabbat. I'm separating it, right? So I have some Hames that I allocate because this is the Hames I'm going to be eating. And then the other Hames is a Hames I'm going to be disposing of. I'm going to be burning it, right? So I have two separate boxes. After the Bediqat Hames, I'm going to say the regular statement that we say every year. It's in the Sidur. So you do Bediqat Hames. After Bediqat Hames, you say Kal Hamira Diika Birshuti. Right. You're going to say that this year. What you're saying is that any Hames that I'm not aware of is hereby annulled. Because remember, you have two boxes of Hames. You're not annulling the Hames in those two boxes. One of the boxes has Hames, you're going to burn that Hames. The other box has Hames, you're going to eat that Hames, right? But there could be other Hames somewhere, maybe in your office, maybe in your car, maybe one of your kids hit something somewhere. So you do bitul Hames, you annul the Hames. And like that, it's not considered in your property in the sense that you're saying it's like the dust of the earth and therefore it's valueless, of no value. Next morning. Usually the morning after the night that we did Bediqat Hames, the following morning, we do Biur Hames, we burn the Hames. And that's exactly what we're going to do Friday morning. Friday morning, you have to do the Biur Hames. The Biur Hames should be done no later than 11:55. So figure you start the Biur Hames around 11:30. By 11:55, it's done. It's finished. All the Hames is burnt. When you finish the Biur Hames on a normal year, you say Kal Hamira. You annul the Hames. You annul the Hames that you're aware of, as well as the Hames that you're not aware of, the Hazideh, or that you saw that you didn't see. You're not going to do that. This year, after you finish the Biur Hames, you may not be mevatel the Hames. I know some books say eno sarich levatel et hames. That's not correct. It's not eno sarich levatel et hames. It's asur levatel et hames. You're not supposed to annul the hames. Why? Because you're going to be eating hames. How can you possibly annul all the hames, whether you're aware of it, whether you're not aware of it, whether you saw it, whether you didn't see it? You're going to be eating hames soon, right? You need to eat hames. You have to have lechem mishneh Friday night. You have to have lechem mishneh Shabbat morning. So therefore, you don't do bitul hames Friday morning. You do biur hames. You burn the hames, but you don't say that separate, that special paragraph that normally you say every year after you burn the hames. You don't say it this year. Friday night, you do kiddush, you do netilat yadayim, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, you eat. Again, you have a separate box. At this point, you only have one box left. All the chametz is in that box. There is no other chametz anyplace else in the house. Okay, so you take out the breads, you eat, and you're done with the meal. Whatever chametz you have left, put back in that box. Saturday morning, you have another meal. You can have the meal early. You can have minyan early. Shachrit is going to be early. And the reason Shachrit is going to be early is because you must finish eating the chametz no later than 10:50. By 10:50, you have to be done eating the chametz, right? So because you're done eating the chametz by 10:50, you'll pray earlier. So you get up around 9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever that is. You can sit down. You can take that box with the chametz. You have the bread. You have to put the bread on the table. You eat it. And now, by 10:50, there is no more eating chametz. That's it. It's over. You can't eat anymore. At this point, it's Isur de Rabbanan. Let's continue. When you finish eating the chametz, there's two possibilities. The preferable possibility is that you have no chametz left. You ate it all. That would be the best thing. Be'ezrat Hashem, that's what I'm going to do. I hope. Okay. However, even if you ate it all, you might have some crumbs on the plate. What you do is you take the plates, you rinse the plates directly into the crumbs on the plate, directly into the drain. So you have a sink, a kitchen sink. You rinse so the water rinses the crumbs off the plate directly into the drain, right? Into the drain of the sink. That's what I meant to say. And that's it. You run the water, let it all go down, finished. End of chametz. That's one possibility. The other possibility is that you have some chametz left. In that case, what I would recommend is that you crumble the chametz that you have left directly into the drain of the sink, run the water, and let it go down the sink. There's other ways to do it. I know, different shitot. That's the way I do it. Now, either way, you finish rinsing the chametz down the sink, or the crumbs, you finish rinsing the crumbs down the sink. The question, now you have to say the bitul chametz. Remember in a normal year, we burn the chametz, and after we burn the chametz, we annul the chametz. This year, we burnt the chametz Friday morning. We did not annul the chametz because, as noted, we couldn't annul the chametz because you're still going to be eating the chametz Friday night, Shabbat morning. Now that you finish eating the chametz Shabbat morning, we said that by 10:50, there's no more eating chametz. Now that you finish eating the chametz, now you do the bitul chametz. So you have the sidur that normally you open up and every year, and it has the passage that you say after the biur chametz. You're going to say that passage now. That passage is Kal Chamira Dika Birshuti de you do the annulment of the chametz. Basically, you're saying any chametz that I still have in my property. Maybe I have something. Maybe I didn't see it. Maybe I did see it, but I forgot about it. Right? It should all. That's it. It's all annulled. It's all like the dust of the earth. That's called bitul chametz. Bitul chametz, by the way, is misvat aseh deoraita. It's not like an option. I'm going to say this. People think, oh, I burnt the chametz. Bitul chametz is not so important. Bitul chametz is misvat aseh deoraita. Because if a person doesn't do bitul chametz and he accidentally has some chametz in his property, he's over lo yira elecha chametz, lo yimaselecha chametz, or zutu lavin deoraita, and also vayom harishon tashbitu se'on mibatechem. That is misvat aseh deoraita. That's why it's very important every year to do bitul chametz. People think, oh, it's just like a little passage you say afterwards. No. After you burn the chametz, you must do bitul chametz. Very important. Because like this, if a person accidentally, a person has kids, maybe the kid saves something somewhere. So it's in your property. It's isur d'oraita. But if you did the bitul chametz, there's no isur d'oraita because you annulled it. That's why it's so important every year to do the bitul chametz. I actually repeat the bitul in English just to make sure that it has meaning, right? So you say the bitul hametz in Aramaic, I would actually repeat it in English, but you should know what you're doing. You're saying that any hametz in my property, whether I saw it, whether I didn't see it, whether I removed it, whether I didn't remove it, accidentally in my property, it's not there intentionally, I'm annulling it. It's like the dust of the earth. Okay, that's Shabbat morning. So now you can finish eating your meal. Say Birkat Hamazon, of course, there was no Ya'aleh V'avo, it's not Pesach yet. What do you do with Seudah Shlishi? Um, it appears from the Shulchan Aruch that you have Masa Ashira. I want to tell you what I understand from the various poskim and the way I do it, and not everybody does it like this. Well, let me first tell you what many people do. What many people do is for Seudah Shlishi, they have some sort of fried masa, because you're not allowed to eat matzah. You know that. Erev Pesach, I should have said that actually. Erev Pesach, meaning that Shabbat from dawn until Leil HaSeder, until you start the Seder, it is forbidden to eat masa. You're not supposed to eat masa. Absolutely asur. Okay. So what do you do for Seudah Shlishi? So that's what I'm dealing with now. Okay, now that I explained that. So for Seudah Shlishi, some people, and definitely many great Chachamim, they suggested that you fry the masa before Shabbat, of course, make it some sort of French toast matzah, and because it's a French toast matzah, it's no longer considered matzah, and therefore you can eat it for Seudah Shlishi. Of course, for Seudah Shlishi, you can't have bread, right? So you say, I'll have matzah. You can't have matzah because, as we said, you can't have matzah at Pesach. So they say you take the matzah, you fry it, and by frying it, or you make it like a French toast, you put it in some sort of batter. It's no longer considered matzah, and that's what they have erev Pesach for Seudah Shlishi. Other opinions are just have some sort of cookies and cakes. Again, cookies and cakes that are made from kemach masot, from matzah meal, right? Because there are some cookies and cakes on Pesach that are the berachos she'akol niyah midbaro, right? Depending on what the cookies and cakes are. But if it's made from matzah flour, then the beracha would be borei minei mizonot. That's other people. That's what they do. Personally, if you're going to have Seudah Shlishi, I would say don't have the fried matzah. Don't have the baked matzah. Some people bake it in a batter. Preferably, have the cookies, have a piece of cake, whatever. Again, make sure it's mizonot, because there are some cookies and cake that are not even made from matzah meal, and therefore the berachos she'akol. So make sure that whatever you're having is actually mizonot. There is an opinion of the Meiri. I follow this opinion. I know I'm not in the majority opinion. I'm aware of that, but this is the opinion I follow because it makes the most sense to me. Harav David Shlush, alav shalom, the great Harav David Shlush, the chief rabbi of Netanya for many decades. He passed away not too long ago, alav shalom, one of the greatest hachamim of his generation. That's the way he makes Pesach. He makes Pesach like the Meiri. And that Pesach is what I follow, and it is as follows, that Erev Pesach, there was no obligation to have Seudah Shlishi, for the reason that, just like every year, one should abstain from eating food the afternoon before Leil HaSeder, so that when he eats the masah, he enjoys it. He enjoys the misvah. He eats it with a big appetite. According to the Meiri, it's the same thing if Erev Pesach is on Shabbat. And the point being that the takana to have a third Seudah on Shabbat is itself the Rabbanan. And the Chachamim who established that you should have Seudah Shlishi on Shabbat also established that you should not eat Erev Pesach mina mincha ulmala from the afternoon time, so that you come into Leil HaSeder with a tremendous appetite. I find that solution to be the simplest, right? In that case, what would I do? I would have some fruits, some light snacks, maybe some nuts, what if it is something like that, and that's it. So I made you aware of what the general practice is. I told you many people, they have masa baked in some sort of batter. I explained why they do that. Other people will just have some cookies that are mezonot and kasher Pesach. I personally, as I said, I follow the me'iri. I found it to be a very simple solution. It makes sense to me. What makes the most sense to me is that Rambam doesn't bring anything about what to do for that Shabbat. So that seems to imply that Shabbat, one doesn't have Seudah Shalishit. Because the Rambam says you save two Seudot. He doesn't talk about the third Seudah. Why not? So the thinking of the Me'iri is, and it makes a lot of, the Me'iri was, not too long after Rambam, by the way. So that what the Me'iri records seems to be the way the practice was done in his days, and I personally follow that practice, not to have a Seudah Shalishit on Shabbat, Shechaliyot, Erev, Pesach. So just one last thing, actually. At the end, when you have the second cup of wine, there's a beracha that you say, Asher ge'alanu, ve'gal et avotenu, mi'Mitzrayim, ve'yigianu lalayla hazeh, le'echol bo masau maror. This is after you're about to have the second cup of wine. You're about to have the second cup of wine at the end of the first part of the seder. You're about to have the second cup of wine. You say Beset Yisem Mitzrayim, and then at the end of Beset Yisem Mitzrayim, you're going to say the beracha, Asher ge'alanu v'ge'alet avotenu Mitzrayim, and then you're going to say Baruch Atah Hashem Ga'al Yisrael, and then you're going to drink the second cup of wine. Okay, in that beracha, there's a portion. It says V'nochal sham min hazevachim u'min hapesachim asher yagia damam al kir mizbachacha lerason. This year is another thing that just came to my mind. This year, there's going to be a slight deviation in that beracha. Instead of saying "V'nochal sham min hazevachim u'min hapesachim," you're going to say "V'nochal sham min hapesachim u'min hazevachim asher yagia damam al kir mizbachacha lerason." That's a difference. The reason for that difference is because since Pesach, Erev Pesach is normally when you bring the Korban Pesach. Now, since, and together with the Korban Pesach, you would bring a special Korban Hagigah. Erev Pesach, you would bring a special Korban Hagigah, and then you would go home with the meat of the Korban Pesach, you would go home with the meat of the Korban Hagigah, and you would, that would be a main part of the Seudah of the Leil HaSeder. So you say, normally you say Mina Zevachim. Zevachim refers to the Korban Hagigah. Umina Pesachim. Pesachim refers to the Korban Pesach. But this year, you couldn't bring a Korban Hagigah at Pesach because it was Shabbat. And the Korban Hagigah is not Doheh et Shabbat. The Korban Pesach is Doheh et Shabbat. It's like Berit Milah. The same way you do Berit Milah on Shabbat, also you bring Korban Pesach on Shabbat. So even though Erev Pesach is Shabbat, when the Beit HaMikdash is built, very, very soon, amen. When the Beit HaMikdash is built, you would go Shabbat to the Beit HaMikdash and you would bring the Korban Pesach, even though it's Shechita and so on, which normally it's Isur Deoraita. The Korban Pesach is Doheh Shabbat, but there's no Korban Hagigah. So when you say this beracha, V'nochal sham min hapesachim u'min hazevachim, this year the Korban Pesach is the Ikar. You could technically bring a Korban Hagigah later, right? But it's a secondary thought, because by the time you get home, you're going to have to sit down and do the Korban Pesach. It's going to be, now Mosai Shabbat is the only possibility of bringing the Korban Hagigah Mosai Shabbat. Mosai Shabbat, you're already home. You have to do Leil HaSeder. You have to have the Arba'ah Kosot. You have to have the Masah, the Maror, right? The Korban Pesach. So that's why we say the Beracha, Mina Pesachim, because this year the Korban Pesach is the Ikar. The Zevachim is Tafel. You're not going to have too much Korban Hagigah because you didn't have a chance to bring Korban Hagigah. That's why you switch the order. שנזכה כולנו לגאולה שלמה ולבניין בית המקדש, ושנזכה באמת להקריב קורבן פסח במועדו, וגם קורבן חגיגה. שיקוים בנו הברכה, שבאמת נוכל לאכול מן הזבחים ומן הפסחים, אשר יגיע דמם על קיר מזבחך לרצון. אמן כן יהי רצון.